Hello, my name's Norheena. I'm a guide at Roslin Chapel, so welcome to the chapel. I'm going to tell you a story about my favourite carving, but do remember that all of the carvings in here are open to interpretation. So this is the legend we believe is behind this carving. As you can see, it is two dragons fighting, and the story goes back to the Dark Ages when the Romans left Britain and there was a power vacuum. Now, most of Britain was made up of small kingdoms, and there was a king called Vortigern, and he wanted to be the High King of Britain, so he wanted to kill off all his enemies. So he hired Saxon mercenaries to kill off all the other kings. Eventually, Vortigern was the High King, but he wanted then to get rid of the Saxons, but the Saxons wouldn't go home, and they wanted to kill him and claim Britain. So Vortigern travelled across the south of Britain up to Wales, building big fortresses behind him as he went. Eventually, he got to a place in Wales called Dinas Emrys, and every night the towers used to fall down. So Vortigern got the wise men together and asked them why this was happening. They came back to him and said the towers would never stay up because they needed to find a boy with an unnatural father, sacrifice him, and mix the blood with his mortar, and then the towers would stay up. Well, they went all over Wales and they eventually dragged the poor boy to the king. They were just about to sacrifice him when the boy went into a trance, and he said the towers would never stand up because underneath them there was a lake, and in the lake there was two dragons fighting. One was red for the Britons and one was white for the Saxons. 1 minute the red dragon would be winning and then the white dragon. The boy said that the whole of Britain would be bathed in blood, the rivers would run with blood, the hills would be levelled. But eventually a warlord would arise, and you, Vortigern, will be no more. The warlord would unite the tribes of Britain and send the Saxons back into the sea. The boy was Merlin, the warlord was Arthur. Now, you may think it's very strange that we have these carvings in a Scottish chapel, but at the time the chapel was built, the stories of King Arthur and the Holy Grail were very popular. So the man that built the chapel, William, wanted everyone to know how well educated he was and how much he was up with the fashions of the time. And there's also lots of legends in this area about Arthur and Merlin. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the story, and I hope one day you will come and see the fighting dragons of Roslin Chapel.